Before the Olympian gods ruled the cosmos, the universe was shaped by older, more primal forces. In the beginning there was chaos, an endless void from which existence emerged. From chaos came Gaia, the earth, solid and enduring, and Uranus, the sky, vast and all-encompassing. Together, they formed the first divine order, giving birth to powerful beings who embodied the raw forces of nature. Among their children were the Titans, immense and ancient gods who ruled the cosmos long before Olympus was imagined. The Titans were led by Cronus, the youngest but most cunning of Uranus and Gaia's sons. Fearing his children's strength, Uranus imprisoned many of them deep within the earth. Enraged, Gaia urged her children to rise against their father. Only Cronus answered her call. With a sickle forged by Gaia, Cronus overthrew Uranus, severing his rule and claiming dominion over the cosmos. Thus began the Age of the Titans. Under Cronus's reign, the universe entered a new order, one marked by power, fear, and inevitability. But Cronus, like his father before him, was haunted by prophecy. He was warned that one of his own children would overthrow him, just as he had overthrown Uranus. To prevent this fate, Cronus swallowed each child. His sister wife Rhea bore him: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. One by one, they vanished into his stomach, imprisoned but alive. Rhea, stricken with grief, could not endure the loss of another child. When she gave birth to her youngest son, Zeus, she devised a plan. Rhea hid the infant Zeus on the island of Crete and wrapped a stone in swaddling clothes, which Cronus swallowed, unaware of the deception. Zeus was raised in secret, nurtured by nymphs and fed by the divine goat Amalthea. To mask his cries, armed dancers clashed their shields, ensuring Cronus would never hear his son. As Zeus grew, so too did his strength and resolve. Hidden from Cronus's sight, he matured into a god of quiet determination, learning of his true lineage and the grim fate of his siblings, imprisoned within their father's body. The injustice of their captivity hardened his will. Guided by Metis, the goddess of wisdom, Zeus devised a plan not of brute force, but of cunning. Metis prepared a powerful potion, one that would undo Cronus's cruel precautions and turn his fear against him. When the moment came, Zeus confronted his father and compelled him to drink the potion. Its magic took hold, and Cronus was forced to expel the children he had swallowed. One by one they emerged: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, alive, fully grown, and bearing the memory of their imprisonment. Freed at last, the siblings stood united, their resentment transformed into purpose. Together, they prepared to challenge the old order and claim their rightful place in the cosmos. What followed was the Titanomachy, a cataclysmic war between the old gods and the new. For 10 years, the Olympians and Titans clashed, shaking the foundations of the cosmos. Mountains were hurled, seas boiled, and the heavens trembled. Yet neither side could claim victory. At Gaia's urging, Zeus sought allies from the depths of the earth. He freed the Cyclopes and the Hecatoncheires, monstrous beings of immense power whom Cronus had once imprisoned. In gratitude, the Cyclopes forged divine weapons for the Olympians: thunderbolts for Zeus, a trident for Poseidon, and a helm of invisibility for Hades. Armed with these gifts, the Olympians turned the tide of war. Zeus's thunderbolts split the sky, Poseidon shattered the land, and Hades struck unseen. The Hecatoncheires hurled mountains upon the Titans, burying them beneath the earth. At last, Cronus and his allies were defeated and cast into Tartarus, a prison deeper than the underworld itself. With the fall of the Titans, a new order was established. Zeus and his siblings divided the cosmos among themselves. Zeus claimed the sky and supreme authority over gods and mortals alike. Poseidon took dominion over the seas, while Hades ruled the underworld, governing the realm of the dead. The earth and Olympus were shared among the gods. Thus began the age of the Olympian gods. From their throne atop Mount Olympus, the new gods represented a shift in divine rule. Unlike the Titans, who embodied vast and impersonal forces, the Olympians were more human in form and temperament. They loved, envied, argued, and forged alliances. Their power was immense, but their emotions were familiar. Zeus ruled as king of the gods, enforcing order and justice, though often imperfectly. He wielded authority through strength and fear, but also through negotiation and law. Yet Zeus was far from flawless. His many affairs with goddesses and mortals alike shaped generations of heroes and sowed conflict among the gods. Hera, his queen, was the goddess of marriage and family. Though powerful in her own right, she was often defined by her resentment toward Zeus's infidelity. Her jealousy gave rise to many trials for mortals and demigods, yet she remained a guardian of social order and sacred vows. Poseidon, god of the sea, was volatile and proud. His temper could summon earthquakes and storms, and his rivalry with Zeus was constant. Hades, by contrast, ruled quietly. Though feared, he was not evil. He governed the dead with fairness, ensuring balance between life and death. Demeter, goddess of agriculture, sustained mortal life through the harvest. When her daughter Persephone was taken to the underworld, Demeter's grief plunged the world into famine. Only through compromise was balance restored, establishing the cycle of the seasons. Hestia, goddess of the hearth, embodied stability and peace. She rarely involved herself in divine conflict, representing the quiet foundation of home and community. A new generation of gods also rose to prominence. Athena, born from Zeus's head, embodied wisdom and strategy. Apollo governed light, music, prophecy, and healing. Artemis ruled the wilderness and protected young life. Ares personified the chaos of war, while Aphrodite governed love and desire. Hephaestus forged weapons and wonders, and Hermes moved freely between worlds as messenger and guide. Together, these gods shaped a structured cosmos. Each had a domain, a role, and limits imposed by divine law. Power was no longer absolute, it was divided. Yet even this new order was unstable. The Olympians frequently intervened in mortal affairs, guiding, punishing, or manipulating humanity. Heroes rose with divine favor: Perseus, Heracles, Theseus, only to suffer under the gods' shifting loyalties. Prophecy and fate remained unavoidable forces, even for the gods themselves. Zeus, though king, was bound by fate. The Moirai, the Fates, controlled the thread of life for gods and mortals alike. No victory, not even the overthrow of the Titans, could free the Olympians from destiny. The myths of the Olympian gods reflect a turning point in Greek thought. The universe was no longer ruled by distant elemental powers alone, but by beings who mirrored humanity, capable of greatness and cruelty, wisdom and folly. Order replaced chaos, but at a cost. The new divine order was not one of quiet harmony. It was dynamic, contested, and inseparably bound to human existence. The Olympian gods did not rule from a distant silence. They argued and allied, loved and envied, punished and protected. Through their conflicts and choices, the Greeks found explanations for the world around them, its beauty and cruelty, its balance and its injustice. Storms, seasons, war, love, and death were no longer random forces, but expressions of divine will. In overthrowing the Titans, the Olympians brought structure to the cosmos. Power was divided, domains were defined, and chaos was restrained by law and authority. Yet in ruling the universe, the gods revealed the complexity of power itself. Even Zeus, king of the gods, was not absolute. He was bound by fate, constrained by prophecy, and challenged by both gods and mortals. Order had replaced tyranny, but not uncertainty. The reign of the Olympian gods endured not as a perfect age, but as a living myth. It was an era shaped by thunder and judgment, by seas that answered to the trident, and by a shadowed underworld that awaited all life. From Mount Olympus, the gods watched humanity closely, intervening in moments of triumph and tragedy alike. Mortals looked to the mountains with awe and fear, knowing their lives unfolded under divine eyes. The old order had fallen, a new one had risen, and the echoes of that divine revolution would shape legend forever, passed down through story, song, and memory, long after temples crumbled and empires faded. If you enjoyed this journey into Greek mythology, don't forget to subscribe for more epic stories, timeless legends, and the myths that shaped the ancient world.